We should be live. Give me 1 second here. One second. I'm getting. All right. Western. Am I getting good snow tonight? Potentially. Potentially, yeah. Let me just share the link on X. Okay, and then let's get. Oh, I want the pen. Let me get the pen tool here. There we go. Okay. So, oof, no, don't do that. There we go. With the map here, kind of the idea was, we really broke this down last night on a lot of my thoughts, and this shouldn't be, super surprising, right now for, if you were watching my live stream. Again, the coding. Um, for me, I'm saying again because I just made a video that wouldn't upload, but this coding area is really the idea that, especially here in Eastern Mass, that eventually you finish as a little bit of snow and you can get at least a coating, right? And then some areas can overperform maybe a little bit and get more. And then back here, if we slide, this whole area here, snow squall potential, snow shower potential, on the backside. For rain to snow changeovers, yeah, I mean, let me just break down the basics and I can answer, I'll answer all your guys' questions, that you want. And then right here, right, this is the tight gradient here. Maybe looking back, I could have put the 2 to 5 a little bit farther west, but we'll see how that turns up. Again, I don't like doing specific. I like making the map how I like it. I know people like to stick to the numbers and stuff, but for me, it's like, how much snow do I think that area is going to get? And I kind of like to stick to that. And if it doesn't line up perfectly, I'm okay with that. But what we're really seeing here is, really a lot of these. We're getting this wind off the right. Our flow is off the ocean here, and then our cold air too is going to be coming in from the backside. We're going to continue to see this to progress, and this is going to push further east, and a lot of good dynamics still need to come through here. A lot of the good mid and upper level dynamics still have to work through. And so what we're looking at here is that we need to see, uh, is what we kind of needed to see over the past, 12 to 18 hours is exactly what we've wanted to in terms of snowier trends and colder trends, where we still have good dynamics to work with here. We have continuous flow to help continue to build precipitation. This is even after the front has kind of pushed through here, and now it's or cold air through the upper mid levels and down to pretty much the surface. Even just if you're above freezing at the surface, you're cold enough to snow all the way through, most of the atmosphere, and that's going to allow you to be able to get some accumulating snow and, persistent for a little bit of a while. And that's why, I like a good 2 to 5 here for a lot of Eastern Mass, for a good portion of Eastern Mass. especially more specifically Middlesex and northwest Essex. But I think this whole area here in Connecticut, I think, is the best opportunity for. Into northern Connecticut is most opportunity for accumulating snow, and then some of these elevated areas here into central Mass and Worcester in a northern Connecticut, I liked potentially to get a little bit more than that, which is why you see that area. And then snow squalls come through on the backside. So if you don't get any snow as you change over here in Eastern Mass, you'll get some, at least from those that come through, at least a little bit, potentially a coating. So that was kind of the idea behind that, with lake effect enhanced out here in upstate New York. Um, and then again, right, similar with these areas, these are elevated areas to get some kind of some jackpot snow out here. And then looking more forward into this area up here in Maine, right? This is where the best of the best happens, closer to where the new upper level low is consolidating. You take a look, right? So all these dynamics come through, right? Around the trough, this energy has to come through, and it starts to get into the Atlantic now. When this low pressure system up here is going to start to intensify a good amount, we're going to see a really strong storm there, and a lot of these best dynamics, right, are going to form right on top of us. Overnight tonight, early and tomorrow morning, and they'll be a little bit more better consolidated and more into the colder air as well, farther north into central and northern New England, which is kind of why I like the idea for significant snow more for those regions. I don't know where is it hard. I don't know where Cliffside Park in New Jersey is, but you can if you give me a general area, I can help you with that. Snowing in Easton, Mass. Very nice. What do you think about rain to snow changeovers and where? Yeah, I think this is kind of that tight gradient here somewhere, and it could flip back too. But cold air will continue to push. If we look at our 850s, we can go to 925s. Hopefully, we can. No, we can go back one. Here's our 925s, and right, you see that spike there in the 925s, right, as we're starting to pull a little bit warmer air. If this does go wrong, um, it'll be due to warm air surge off the Atlantic a little bit too much, a little bit too much. And that is where this could kind of go wrong. But notice that starts to collapse, and then now you're game on here, and then until the next round comes through, and then maybe you switch back um, for some areas. But at that point, um, we'll be pretty close for margins, and we'll get close again. Those 925s, we'll get close again into central and eastern Mass, into northern Rhode Island. But you should be able, once you change over, for the most part, in this area, you should be able to stay pretty much all snow just along, just west of I-95. Snowing steadily in State College, PA right now. That is nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think I had PA, a lot of PA getting on 1 to 3, northern PA. But Jersey, I think for the most part, you look at snow squall potential in Jersey. Slide back to my map. We'll go one less. I think a lot of snow squall potential for a lot of Jersey. And you could get a coating here, maybe too, potentially. Um, but not everywhere will get snow squalls and snow showers. So I couldn't draw the whole area to get too much snow here. So, but I do like I do like a lot of this area here to be able to get some sort of snow squall action or snow showers, at least on the backside. So yeah, I mean that's kind of those are kind of the basics of the map. Not again nothing too crazy. In my opinion, I think I'm forecasting a specific scenario that unfolds with just a little bit of margin for error. But yeah, I kind of like I like my map. Obviously, I made it. So this is kind of where my thoughts are at right now. It's not, again, I'll be wrong somewhere. I'll be wrong maybe a lot of places, but the goal of this map is to just try to illustrate, how I think it's gonna play out, and it'll be a little bit off somewhere. I think another interesting aspect here is in Maine, this gradient here could be pretty close, right? Especially for even farther up north here, where you're really going to be pulling stronger wind off here of the Atlantic. And at this point, I would be a little bit concerned here along this area. Um, but hopefully at this point, you've got enough cold air to crash here. Um, more and more cold air to crash here help create a little bit of that thermal clash in this area, and you can maybe get some dynamic cooling to win out there. And that's kind of the idea here. Maybe not as strong as dynamics and or as consolidated area of dynamics as will be further north, but you can still potentially get maybe a little bit of some of those heavier bands, some potential dynamic cooling to take place, and that can allow you to, maybe get some for people who are close on that rain snow line to be able to get some more snow, as opposed to rain. Especially people, especially up here in Mass, wherever that sets up, that will be that'll be that'll be close, right? And kind of the thinking here too is right. The wind is not really coming. We're not working with an easterly flow here. It's a southerly flow, which is kind of the difference in this scenario with the crash of cold air. But again, it's not right because the main storm is happening way up here. Really, the main brunt of it. So that's kind of that's why I look at Maine to be able to get some of the best totals, and then elevated areas as well. And this is lake enhanced, especially too, off of Lake Ontario. So this is kind of the general thoughts from a map. I feel relatively confident um, that right, cold air starts to crash. Go back here. Right, cold air starts to crash, and you're able to get right. These are 925s just above the surface here, and at this point, now a lot of people are getting into snow at this point. And then you're all, but you still have that southerly flow off the ocean, which is going to help to continue to create precip. And so now people can get a good light to moderate snow to continue. And also, it's overnight, early morning hours as well is the brunt of it. And that's going to allow people to accumulate as well. You're not worrying about, it's darker, it's easier for snow to accumulate, right? Regardless of it, being, peak, um, sunlight, whatever. Forget about that. More so, it's just dark nighttime. It's easier for snow, especially a wetter snow, right? A wetter snow will accumulate a little bit better during the nighttime, just a little bit more. So it should, and especially, but nobody measures even on pavement as well. So what most people measure on either a board, a grass, a table, or whatever. So it will be a little bit wetter, especially along that right along wherever that rain snow line sets up. And I think, especially in Connecticut, I think a lot of people here, they may snow, but it'll be like a wet snow because you have you're right off the Atlantic here, this warm air. So it could be pretty tight with your gradients here, and the same with Rhode Island. So I would be a little bit concerned with some of those areas, but further inland, just a little, should be able to do a little bit better in terms of ratios. I think more interior into Massachusetts and farther north, that they should be able to make out a little bit better with ratios. Should be closer to 10 to 1, and those elevated areas potentially at or above. But then see, cold air comes in from the backside. So coldest temps of the year will onset after. But yeah, those are kind of my snowfall thoughts for this event. And I hope we get yeah, PA is here's the map. Kind of my areas here in PA could be more of a 2 to 5 potentially out here, and then potentially snow squalls and snow showers here across Jersey, Eastern PA to be able to get some more to be able to get some potentially at least a trace of snow, right? At least a coating of snow, and maybe you get some actual accumulation potentially if you're able to, to get lucky enough to really get into one of those bands. But just really covering, the basis for, a lot of people's first flakes down here of the season, if not potentially some decent accumulation for, I mean, just for the event. Coating to an inch really is kind of the idea for a good amount of non-elevated Pennsylvania areas in the central, southern, and eastern parts of the state, with the northern half of Pennsylvania being able to get some decent accumulation. And Hudson Valley could be close. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw 1 to 2 inches. Some of these areas I put a coating to one, maybe a little bit more. But and the same with here up here towards the Champlain Valley. But those are the kind of the thoughts I have in terms of my snowfall map and kind of why I have what I have. I think it's reasonable in my opinion. I think looking back tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be happy that I was a little bit, maybe not many people are maybe as aggressive, but I don't view it as aggressive. I just view it as the scenario I see unfolding. I don't really try to compare it to other people. I just try to make the map the best I can. I really like being right, so um, that's really a little bit of ego, I guess, there, but more so try to just test myself as a forecaster, do the best I can with this, and if it's wrong, it's wrong, and try to do the best I can to learn going forward for the future when I make these. So I really just try sincerely. It's never about making the prettiest colors or the most interesting map to get engagement. If I want to get engagement on Twitter, I would post those long range model run hits all the time. If I wanted to do that, this is sincerely about just making the best map I can always. Um, so yeah, hopefully you all enjoy the snow and you can continue to follow along on X and on YouTube. And I will see you all. Maybe we should go live tonight. So I will likely see